Okay, so I got this idea from Mitchell Davis where you list off 50 things that are important to you or are part of you. They don't have to be good or bad, they can be things or people or whatever. So I'm gonna start. This is the Arcade Fire's Funeral album, and it's important to me because I think it saved my life at least a couple times. I got it after a pretty harsh breakup, and it really helped, and it's just always been my comfort album since then. Second thing I have to say is Mr. Ream, who was my English teacher in high school for 2.5 years about, and his style of teaching has always inspired me to write more and to be a better student, to be more analytical about reading and such. And also another favorite teacher I've ever had was Miss Gillison last year, who was my writing teacher, and she, although we had our differences in political and social matters, she really liked my writing and she really inspired me to write more and what I should improve on. Another thing I like are brownie crusts, like the really chewy, yummy part around the brownies that around the edges. That's just my favorite part of brownies. I really like sushi and pretty much anything about Japanese culture, especially the food. And although I don't like wasabi or pickled ginger, I just don't like it. I like Apple products because obviously this is my beloved Mac, and I have this wireless Mac mouse and my iPod. My iPod pretty much contains my life. Say there's just millions, well, not millions, but hundreds of bands, mostly pretentious indie bands, but that's another topic. My favorite movie is A Clockwork Orange, which I don't have it now. I lent it to someone, but it kind of changed my idea of what a movie could do and what it should get away with, and it's really surprising to me when it came out in the late 60s or early 70s, what they got away with. It's been condemned by churches and all these organizations that try to ban it. It's really something to me. Wes Anderson, who's one of my favorite directors, he directed Rushmore, The Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic, which are some of my favorite movies because they have this nerdy detail obsession. There's just these tiny little details that all connect, and I love it. My favorite artist is Salvador Dali. Let me show you a print. He was really big in the Spanish surreal scene, and I am a big fan of that, especially in my own artwork, which I don't have much of, but it's a big inspiration. My friend Julian from elementary school and middle school, I choose him to put on my list because he kind of warped my mind, and I'm going to show you this later, so that's kind of like a call out or whatever, but I think he knows what I mean. The internet, because most of my life is on the internet, unfortunately, and you can find entertainment, information, and communicate. I've met some of my best friends on the internet, so I can't go without it, really. And especially Vampire Freaks, which is one of my favorite websites, and I've met at least 3 or 4 of my best friends on there. So that's important to me. And of course MySpace, sadly. Although I'm very displeased with the apps on it, although in a double standard way, I like the apps on Facebook. So, Wikipedia, although some say, oh, it's not reliable, it's an easy way to get instant access to information, and so I love it. And if something sounds wrong, then I'll look in a more reliable place. Cats, I have a lot of cats. If anyone knows me, they know that we have too many, and it's kind of scary, but I love them. They're my favorite animals. Another person is Amanda. She is an ex of mine, and she kind of changed me for better or worse, made me a more emotionally open person, which I think is important in anyone, to be able to be in touch with themselves internally. So I've loved her and love her very much, so I hope she knows that. And soy burgers, I don't eat meat, although I do eat seafood, but I love soy burgers or any kind of soy meats. Um, it's just delicious, and there's so many things you can do with it. Connor Oberst is probably my hero for music, and has inspired me to write music, and his lyrics have inspired mine, and also another factor of my emotional openness. Black metal, which is probably my second favorite kind of music. If you don't know about it, is basically really extreme metal that started in Europe, kind of as almost a joke, not completely serious. And then there was this big violent scene in Norway, which kind of elevated it to this controversial state. And it's just the best to me because it's most it's the most honest. It's not contrived usually, even though there may be fantastical or satanic themes. It's just this pure energy and emotion, which not happy emotions usually, but still, it's good stuff. Twilight, I bring this up because I think it's a disgrace to literature, vampire lore, and feminism, because this character Bella is kind of this little, she's not a very strong person, and I think she's just a bad character, and it's horribly written. Okay. Charles Bukowski, who is my favorite author and poet, his style of writing is more natural and cynical, which is something I've put into my own writing. Modest Mouse, who actually have a song about Charles Bukowski. They were the first quote-unquote indie band that I heard back when I was 12. They're not indie now, but it's still regarded as that kind of music. They just kind of changed how I thought about music a bit, and I'm obsessed with them now. Beards, I really wish I had one, like an awesome Sam Bean beard, or like a, just one of those awesome philosopher beards. That would be cool. So if anyone has any beard growing tips, you can tell me. That would be nice. Grammar, I really like grammar and appropriate grammar, and I'm a bit of a Nazi about it, so I will point out, sometimes aggressively, people's bad grammar or spelling. Writing, I love writing. Yeah. Gangster rap, I may not look like it, but I'm a huge Dr. Dre and NWA fan, and I also like any kind of underground rap. No, not shit like, not stuff like 50 Cent or Chameleonaire, stuff like that. It's horrible. Final Fantasy VIII, which is my favorite game of all time. I have this just inseparable emotional attachment to it, and its characters, and a lot of its music, so I kind of grew up with it. It was my first game that I had even before I had a PlayStation. I was expecting to get one, so I bought it ahead of time, and then I didn't get my PlayStation until a year and a half later. Anyway, Friedrich Nietzsche, which is my favorite philosopher. He was around in the late 1800s, and basically he promoted extreme individualism and kind of defiance against the church, and so I admire him for that. Slipknot. This, in 8th grade, was my haven. This is what got me through the day, because in 8th grade I was convinced that I hated everyone and my family, and I hated myself, and everything was just crap. And obviously that's not how I think now, and it also was kind of a gateway to get me into more extreme metal, and I'm a snob about metal now. I'm just saying that's what started it. My mom, because she's always been there for me and pretty much has done everything, and most of the stuff in my room is because of her, so I couldn't go on without her, even though she thinks I could. Existentialism, which is a school of philosophy that I follow, and it's basically what it says is our sole purpose is to define our own existence, rather than let someone or some force or authority tell us what we're supposed to do. And